Hey everybody, this is Josh here, the Gray Bearded Green Beret. I'm out here in the forest. I've established a base camp. Now I want to leave that base camp to go look for resources or kind of scout the area to see what I'm working with around this new base camp. When I do that, I still have the same needs, right? Body core temperature control, still have to hydrate, still have to consume calories, still need to be able to navigate or take care of an injury. None of that has changed in the event that I can't get back to base camp for some reason. In another context, when you come to a course, we set up a base camp like this. We don't need to carry our shelter system everywhere we go. We don't need to carry like maintenance stuff everywhere we go, but there are some minimal things that we do need to carry. And that's what we keep inside our scout kit. This is my haversack. I've got supplies in here, some general supplies that I need in here. I've got my water bottle carrier, and of course my belt knife, and then the things that I always have in my pocket, a lighter and my multi-tool. So that's kind of the overview of my scout kit. So let's dive deeper into what's actually inside. All right, so the scout kit itself, I have a water bottle carrier. That's first and foremost. And then of course I've got my haversack. Before I go into what goes in that haversack, I want to talk about a couple of things that I'm going to have in my pockets and on my person rather than in the haversack. All right, so again, lighter always in my pocket, actually this pocket. Multi-tool, so this has got a blade, awl, and a saw. That's going in my other pocket. It's just where I keep it. If you don't like to keep things in your pocket, put it in your haversack. Also on my belt, I'll keep my belt knife. So that's gonna go on the belt. As soon as I get into the wood line, I'm gonna put on my Bushcraft dump pouch. If you're not using one of these and you're using a regular tinder pouch, put it inside your haversack. Fire kit, I may carry this on my belt. I may also choose to put it inside the haversack. Either way is fine, just as long as I have a fire kit with me in this scout kit in case I need to make a fire when I get out there. I have the full fire kit in this pouch, so it's all together. You could reduce that down. You want to have your emergency fire starting, your emergency ignition systems, and your emergency tinder. So I got my lighter in my pocket, so I'll make sure that I have at least my matches in my scout kit and my emergency tinder, right? Because if I'm out there using this and I'm away from base camp, it's probably an actual emergency. Like I'm stuck out there, stranded out there, whatever. I need to maintain my body core temperature, and I've got a much smaller kit in order to do that with. So emergency tinder, my emergency ignition sources, my lighter, my stormproof matches, at a minimum, either in your belt pouch or in your haversack. I'm just gonna put it all back in the belt pouch along with everything else that I keep in my normal fire kit just to keep it together. I've got my silky saw, quite reflective. So I'm probably going out on a scout to look for resources. Those resources may require a saw. I can use the saw on my Swiss Army knife, but let's be honest, it's not that big a saw. So I carry the silky on my belt or put it inside my haversack. The next thing that we need to think about is if we get stranded out there, how are we going to make a shelter? Yes, you can make primitive shelters. That's all fine and good. It's even better if you can pack some things ahead of time. Again, anticipate your needs and then pack resources to fulfill those needs ahead of time. That's the whole point of this. Be prepared first, then be prepared to find yourself completely unprepared, right? For some reason or completely unprepared, that's where the primitive skills come in. If you're coming to a course, that's what these two things are. These are kind of administrative for this video, but when students come to my courses, they all get an orange 3mm contractor bag and an orange vest, basically like an orange safety vest, right? These are high vis. They also have retro reflective material in them for nighttime, so these become their primary passive daytime and nighttime signals. The scout kits already have all of our med gear in there, right? Because we need to be able to handle an injury if we're out away from base camp and away from our main medical supplies. We still need to be able to handle life-threatening bleeds. So tourniquet, wound packing gauze, emergency trauma dressing so I can do a pressure dressing. That's all in there. Also included in that, hypothermia / shock prevention, emergency mylar blanket. If I were to get stranded out there with nothing but a scout kit and I didn't want to rely solely on primitive methods of making shelter, I've got a mylar blanket that I can use as a blanket, a reflector to reflect heat back onto me from a fire. And then I've got a big contractor bag that between this and my knife, I can open up and turn this into an improvised tarp if I have to. Both are brightly colored. It'll also help staff find that lost person. Or in your case, if you're the lost, it'll help search and rescue find you in the forest. So brightly colored, good thing to have. So those are part of the student safety kit, but it makes sense for you even if you're not coming to a live course. That should be in your scout kit, right? It doesn't take up much room. And then of course, to put that all together, just throw some cordage in there. You don't need like a full paracord ridge line, but you can if you want to just throw your paracord ridge line in there and call it good, go for it. I'm just going to throw about a 1/4 pound of bank line in there. You could get away with a lot less than this. I'll throw that inside there. We talked about the med supplies, that's going in. Tourniquet, I want it to be readily accessible, so I put that in the top flap of my haversack. Put my med gear in there. Next, I'm going to put my navigation kit in there. This has my compass that also has my signal mirror. Got a Fresnel in so I could read the map. I can also start a fire with this. So that's my 1, 2, 3rd method of starting a fire in this scout kit. Map, protractor, waterproof notebook, paste beads, and of course, mechanical pencil. So that's my nav kit. That's going to go inside my scout kit as well. And then of course, the rest of the signals. I've got my mirror on my compass. I've got a whistle that I'll put inside there, and headlamp with extra batteries I'll put inside there. The vest, the contractor bag, the Mylar blanket, the mirror on my compass, whistle, and headlamp with batteries. I've got signals covered in case I can't make it back. So all of that goes inside there. So all that is sitting inside my haversack along with my water bottle. And then of course, anything that I put on my belt, like my fire kit, knife, saw, and tinder pouch. Anything that I'm not actually carrying on my belt, I just need to put inside here. One last thing. If it's raining or there's a chance of rain, it's a good idea to make sure that you either have your poncho or your rain jacket with you, or you pack it inside your scout kit. But again, if it's not, I probably won't take that personally, because I can turn that orange contractor bag into an improvised poncho in a pinch if I really had to. So that's the GB2 Scout Kit. Great way to make sure that you still have the resources to provide for your needs when you're away from base camp, actually scouting and reconning your area looking for resources. So try it out, might be something that helps you. Hope to see you in the woods.